steps outside for their historic test flight.
4 brave explorers ready to ride the most powerful rocket NASA has ever launched.
Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy.
We are going for our families.
We are going for our teammates.
We are going for all humanity.
Engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon.
Hard to wrap your mind around. I mean that sincerely. It really bends your mind.
As we prepare to go out of radio communication, to all of you down there on Earth and around Earth, we love you from the moon.
Just seeing Tycho, there's mountains to the north. You can see Copernicus, Rainier Gamma. It's just everything from the training, but in 3 dimension and absolutely unbelievable.
Kathy Moonjoy. Superlative thumbs up.
We just went sci-fi.
I think there is enough for all. The purpose of humanity is joy and lifting one another up, creating together.
This is a whole bunch of nothing, this thing we call the universe. You have this oasis, this beautiful place that we get to exist together.
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, after ignition, to me, the moment that I'm going to be most excited for is splashdown. There's no question about that. Good shoots coming down off the West Coast.
And there go the first series of parachutes.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drones out the window.
Main chute deployed.
We most importantly choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
This is a relay race.
It takes an army to pull a mission together like this, right? Across all 10 of our centers, all of our commercial partners, the international partners that come together to make this possible.
Integrity Houston, you ready for the event?
Houston Integrity, we are ready for the event.
ABC News, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call Integrity for a voice check.
Integrity, this is Gio Benitez at ABC News. How do you hear me?
Outstanding. We have you loud and clear. How about us?
I hear you loud and clear, and I truly cannot believe it. You are quite...
For more than 50 years, boy, humanity has looked toward the moon without returning. An entire generation has grown up never witnessing astronauts venture beyond Earth's orbit. The footprints left on the lunar surface in 1972 remain untouched to this day. But history is about to change. A new spacecraft, a new rocket, a new generation of explorers, and a mission that could begin humanity's next great era in space. Its name is Artemis II. Unlike the Apollo missions that raced to the moon during the Cold War, Artemis II represents something much bigger. It is not simply about returning to the moon, it is about preparing humanity to become a species capable of living beyond Earth, and perhaps one day, reaching Mars. When Apollo 11 moon landing captivated the world in 1969, it seemed like humanity had entered a new age of exploration. Over the next 3 years, 12 astronauts walked across the moon, collected scientific samples, and demonstrated that humans could survive on another world. Many believed that permanent lunar bases would soon follow. Some even imagined that people would reach Mars before the end of the 20th century. Instead, everything stopped. The final Apollo mission, Apollo 17, left the moon in December 1972. Since then, no human has traveled farther than low Earth orbit. Why? The answer lies in politics, economics, and changing priorities. The Apollo program was created during the Cold War, when space exploration was also a contest of national prestige. Once the United States achieved its goal of landing on the moon, political urgency declined. The missions were expensive. Public interest slowly faded, funding shifted toward new priorities, including the space shuttle and later the International Space Station. These programs transformed science and engineering, but they also kept humans close to Earth. For over 5 decades, deep space remained unexplored by astronauts. Today, the moon is no longer viewed as the final destination. Instead, it has become the gateway to the rest of the solar system. Scientists now know that the moon's south pole contains water ice trapped inside permanently shadowed craters. This discovery changed everything. Water means drinking supplies. Water can also be separated into oxygen for breathing and hydrogen for rocket fuel. Instead of carrying every resource from Earth, future astronauts may use the moon itself to survive. This concept is called in situ resource utilization, and it could dramatically reduce the cost of long-term exploration. The moon also provides the perfect environment to test technologies for future missions to Mars. If humans cannot learn to live just 3 days from Earth, how could they survive months away on another planet? Returning to the moon is no longer about repeating history. It is about preparing for the future. Artemis II is the first crewed mission of NASA's Artemis program. Unlike the uncrewed Artemis 1, which successfully tested the spacecraft in deep space, Artemis II will carry 4 astronauts beyond Earth for the first time since Apollo. The mission will launch aboard the Space Launch System, or SLS, one of the most powerful rockets ever built. Standing nearly 100 meters tall, SLS produces more thrust than the legendary Saturn V. At its peak, the rocket generates millions of pounds of thrust, lifting the crew away from Earth and accelerating them toward the moon. Sitting at the top is NASA's Orion spacecraft, designed specifically for deep space exploration. Unlike the Apollo capsules of the 1960s, Orion includes advanced life support systems, modern navigation, improved radiation protection, and enough living space for extended missions. For about 10 days, Orion will become the astronauts' home. Every great mission is remembered not only for its technology, but for the people willing to trust it. Artemis II will carry 4 highly trained astronauts. Together, they represent decades of experience, engineering excellence, and international cooperation. Their mission is not to land on the moon. Instead, they will perform a free return trajectory, looping around the far side of the moon before gravity naturally guides them back toward Earth. This elegant path was first used during the Apollo era because it provides an added margin of safety. At its greatest distance, the crew will travel nearly 500,000 kilometers from Earth, farther than any humans have traveled in more than 50 years. As Orion passes behind the moon, Earth will disappear from view. For a brief period, the astronauts will experience complete isolation from direct line-of-sight communication, only the silent lunar landscape beneath them, and the endless darkness of space beyond. It will be a moment unlike any experience since the Apollo era. Leaving Earth orbit is far more dangerous than many people realize. Beyond Earth's magnetic field, astronauts are exposed to powerful cosmic radiation that can damage cells and increase long-term health risks. Temperatures swing between extreme heat and freezing cold. There are no repair stations, no quick rescue missions. Every system aboard Orion must perform exactly as designed. Engineers will closely monitor the spacecraft's life support systems, navigation, communication equipment, and heat shield. Every piece of data collected during Artemis II will help prepare for future missions that will carry astronauts to the lunar surface and eventually to Mars. This mission is not simply about proving that humans can travel around the moon again. It is about proving that humanity is ready for the next giant leap. More than half a century ago, the Apollo missions showed humanity what was possible. Artemis II is about discovering what comes next. It is the bridge between our past and our future, a mission that reconnects us with deep space, not to relive history, but to build upon it. If everything goes according to plan, the Artemis II will pave the way for Artemis III, which aims to return astronauts to the lunar surface, and later missions that could establish permanent habitats on the moon. And beyond that lies an even greater dream. The first one in footsteps on Mars. Perhaps years from now, historians will look back on Artemis II not as a single mission, but as the moment humanity truly resumed its journey into the cosmos. Because every great adventure begins with one courageous step. And after 50 years, Artemis II isn't simply about proving that humans can travel to the moon again. We already know that. The real goal is preparing for the future. The mission will validate Orion's life support systems, navigation, communications, heat shield performance during re-entry, crew operations in deep space. Every lesson learned will directly shape the next missions, including Artemis III, which aims to return astronauts to the lunar surface for the first time in more than 50 years. Beyond that lies an even bigger ambition: permanent lunar habitats, the planned Lunar Gateway space station, and eventually, human missions to Mars. Artemis II is not the destination, it is the beginning. Throughout history, every great era of exploration began with a single courageous journey. Sailors once crossed unknown oceans, pilots crossed continents, astronauts crossed the boundary between Earth and space. Now, Artemis II marks the beginning of humanity's next great chapter, a mission that reconnects us with the spirit of exploration that defined the Apollo era. Not because returning to the moon is easy, but because pushing beyond our limits has always been part of what makes us human. Perhaps one day, future generations will look back on Artemis II the same way we look back on Apollo 11, not simply as another mission, but as the moment humanity truly began its journey into the wider solar system. And maybe, one day, the road to Mars will begin with this very mission.